I'm looking. I see you guys. I see two people. Hey, Christy. Hi. How are you? Your very friendly face there. I've never seen you before, I don't think, have I? Well, I was going to say real quick, I saw Michael and Nick, right? You guys were at the Marty Music Mountain Retreat. Isn't that right? You guys can just nod, thumbs up. I'm seeing a lot of great friendly faces. Oh, we got another Marty Music Mountain Retreat joining in. Josh Norco. You just give a thumbs up, Josh. How you doing? We'll get you guys to chime in a sec. One thing I want to say is that Michael, who I've now jammed with multiple times because we've jammed in Nashville at my Gibson guitar event, and then now we've jammed at the Marty Music Mountain Retreat, the first annual, first of many. And what was so cool is Michael's wife was nice enough to join and even buy a ticket without playing guitar to support her husband. Although I would say it was a fun time even if you didn't play guitar. But what's so cool about that is Michael's wife won my signature guitar at the end of the event. So she was like the ultimate trooper, like just supporting her husband. She doesn't play guitar. She was enjoying the event though. And I could tell that she was such a supportive wife of Michael, enjoying all the guitar-centric things. And then at the end, we did the guitar giveaway. And it was totally a fair raffle app, you know, that's like a spinning wheel. And boom, Michael's wife won the signature guitar. So she was karmically rewarded for being such a trooper at the whole thing. Now I want to tell you guys that are watching here exclusively through through this community live stream right here. Just today, I'm actually going live over on YouTube, which you guys can't see. And the reason for that is I'm going live on YouTube to let the YouTubers know, because I haven't done a live stream on YouTube for quite a bit here, that I've moved most of my live streams over to martymusic.com and the community function because it enables us to have quality over quantity. And what YouTube can't see right now is that people are actually able to chime in and ask me questions, and I can answer them directly, and they're actually on video. So it's a completely better way, plus more quality. I'm not worried about a bunch of people spamming Metallica and Nirvana all the time or just other obnoxious things. And they can go to this community live stream, which I'm gonna do 2 live streams a month. And you know, right now we have a dozen or so people, so it's real quality. Anyone that wanted to ask a question can come on video with their guitar, ask a topic, and I can answer directly and everyone else can relate to it. So that's the new community feature live streams that I'm doing, 2 a month. And then when I'm not traveling around or doing the Marty Music Mountain Retreat like I did last weekend, I'm gonna do a 3rd bonus live stream, but it's guaranteed 2, and then a 3rd bonus one when I'm in town and available. And then the first Saturday of every month, I'm gonna do my normal public YouTube live stream that I'll still do. But I just wanted the people on YouTube to see that I've moved over. We've got high quality video and microphone, great levels, and people can chime in. What I'd like to do, and YouTube, you guys won't be able to do this today, but you can go over to martymusic.com and check it out. You get basically live masterclasses with me where you can interact with me. It's really almost just like being in a room with me. And you get 2 of those a month, and that lowest feature is $10. So $10 a month, you're gonna get one-on-one, or you know, maybe one with about 15 to 20 people in a virtual room with your video on, where we can actually interact with each other. So what I'd like to do, since we just did this Marty Music Mountain Retreat, and I'm gonna pick some topics here, but I'd love to get Nick. Can we get Nick on real quick? I don't think you mind, Nick. I can see you, right? Hey, since I have a few of you guys from the Marty Music Mountain Retreat, and by the way, everyone that ran the event, you know, the resort, Music Master Collective, those guys, they were so happy with how it went, and they were just really blown away by the quality that you guys brought, and then the quality that me and my team brought, and the talent that we all came together. They were just super impressed, and so they immediately started talking to me about doing it next year. And I would love, yeah, definitely want to do it again. It was a really amazing week for me. Not all of you guys saw it, but I got to bring that Moga family band with me to New York City, and we kind of were able to cap off the whole week by playing our own show at the Bitter End in New York City, and we sold it out. And what was so exciting for me is, obviously, Nick, you saw Moga family band, and what was fun for me was to go to the Bitter End and know that the whole audience had no idea what they were about to see, who they were, or how talented they were. And so I was so excited getting to know that these people were going to hear such talented people for the first time with no expectations, and I think get blown away. And I can tell you that they were, and it was so rewarding because the retreat was all about interacting with you guys and like giving to you guys. And then when we did the Bitter End, it was like kind of us getting to just play for an audience that had no idea what to expect. There was one retreat, right, Matt? Just one? Mm-hmm. One guy from the retreat, it was Greg, I think?
Yep.
I'm really bad with names, you guys. But anyway, we had, Greg was right in the front row with his wife, and his wife was not at the retreat, and she was just beaming because she could tell how much Greg enjoyed it as well. And so anyway, just the whole week was magical for me. Kind of a highlight of I've been doing all of this kind of stuff for 17 years. And that whole week was just a magical week. I was very exhausted, but it was just so rewarding getting to like jam with you guys. Now, Nick, you and I jammed, did we jam Sympathy for the Devil? So I'd love to just get a recap from you about your experience at the event, just because it's fun to relive. And I want to also say that, Nick, had you never played with a band before? I think that counts. It still counts. But we played Sympathy for the Devil, and you played a guitar solo, and I was super impressed. You did an awesome job. You didn't do the thing that a lot of, you know, kind of nervous beginners do, which is just like up and down the scale. You got some, you got some good feel in there. But anyway, let's hear about your just experience at the retreat. I'd love to hear your experience. Awesome. Now, real quick, people on YouTube are just watching me stare and nod into my computer screen because they can't hear you speaking. But we just, also, if you're watching on YouTube right now, I get that you're missing out on some stuff, and that's because I just wanted to share with you guys that I've switched my live streams over to martymusic.com, and it's a much smaller group where people can chime in. Right now, my friend Nick is talking about his experience at the Marty Music Mountain Retreat. He had an amazing time. He got up on stage and played with a band, which he was nervous to do, but then also he got to learn from some of my favorite educators, but then on top of that, I also had some of my favorite artists there performing. So it was a combination of education, but also great performances and a beautiful mountain retreat. So I know you weren't hearing any of that on YouTube. So if you want to join my community though, you can go over to martymusic.com and join the lowest tier community for $10 a month. You're gonna get 2 of these master classes live where you can actually chime in like Nick was just doing on video. I know you're not seeing that. So you guys didn't hear Nick? Thumbs up if you heard Nick. Yeah, they did. Okay, just making sure. Maybe someone didn't have their computer on, or I mean their volume, not sure. But anyway, glad you guys all heard that. Now, Nick ripped a solo, and he just said he had never played in front of people or on stage with the band. But Nick actually really did an amazing job. And it was also, on top of that, not different for me, because when ooh, dog's barking somewhere. Someone's dogs are barking. When I meet someone in person, that's my experience, right? But for you guys, you're used to watching me in a like maybe 8-minute, 9-minute YouTube video, and you don't get me to talk back to you because I'm on a computer screen. So I think something else that was cool, Nick, for instance, you know, we're all eating meals and drinking some drinks together, and we can just talk like we're talking right now and get to know each other. And that's been really special for me since I've done this for so long, to actually get to know you guys a little bit deeper and better, where we're actually communicating with each other. Now, one thing I want to ask you, Nick, is there 1 or 2 like takeaways that you learned guitar educationally, you know, in that regard, from one of the clinics or from one of the master classes or something like that? And then I'll relay it to the YouTube people. Oh, are there your dogs, Nick? Oh, yeah. No, it's okay. The mailman's probably there or something. Yes. So Chris Sherlin was my guitar teacher in college, and we've stayed in touch. And then, you know, I kind of helped him break into the computer internet world of guitar teaching, because he has such a great teacher, as you will agree. And he's a more like guitar teacher style guitar teacher, you know, like more academic than myself. I'm kind of more of the fun guy jamming with his buddy, and that's always, I think, worked for my personality. But Chris is obviously taught guitar in college and taught proper guitar lessons, so he's got a little more academic approach. But Nick, I'm going to show what you were just talking about, the thing that you learned, since this is a guitar live stream. But we just did this mountain retreat. It was great to hear about it. So I'm going to talk about that topic right now. And for YouTube, you can also always join this, just like I could be talking to you right now. So go over to martymusic.com and check out that community feature. So I'm going to talk about what Jake was talking about, and some other people talked about it as well. So if I have an A7 chord, well, if you see the A minor pentatonic over that, which is the standard like scale you would play the blues over. Just deleting my loop there. So if I had an A7 chord, if I play the A minor pentatonic over that, it doesn't sound wrong, it sounds pretty good. But there is a note that's not part of that chord that we're playing, and it's this 5th fret G string. The sound still works because it's like the sound of the blues. Or but we can play a half step up, and look when I play an A7 chord. So it's weird because when I play an A7 chord, which we call the 1 chord, blues in A, the 1 chord would be A7. If I play that, 5th fret G, that's not in that chord. The sound of the blues, we still like that sound, but it's actually, just for the 1 chord, it would be that 6th fret G string, which I'll tell you is a C sharp. It's the 3rd of the chord is what that's called. Now, the same C sharp, my kids are texting me right now. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but that same note is also on the 8th fret high E, but the C sharp's actually a half step up. And so over an A7 chord, the truest chord tone of that would actually be the 9th fret high E. Check it out. And the 6th fret G. And then the 9th fret low E. Or that same note is also the 4th fret of the A. But to get really bluesy, you can still think of the A minor pentatonic and bend that 8th fret up. And then bend the 5th fret G string up a half step. And then bend that 8th fret low E, but you have to bend it this way because you run out of neck. And the other thing that I've talked about that other people were actually referencing my term nudgy bends, which is like a Clapton thing, and that's where you maybe not even make that full half step bend. So when you hear it starting to bend up, that's kind of got that vocal melodic bluesy sound. Now Clapton would also hammer on that chord tone instead of bending it. So a great topic for you guys to work on, and you can type in, I even have it at the Marty Music YouTube channel, blues backing track in A. And so you have a 1 chord, which is A7. And you can just work on, whenever you hear that 1 chord, try and make it a C sharp instead of a C. So you can do it by, Clapton would, like in the, actually that harmony, that is that same C sharp right there. So he does it right in Crossroads, but then when he goes, he does it right there. It's subtle, but he's actually playing more closer to a C sharp than a C, and then he does the hammer-on version. And then that final note, he's playing a chord tone of the 5 chord, the E. So all the greatest blues players are doing it. Sometimes you don't realize they're doing it. Also in Pride and Joy, when Stevie Ray Vaughan's playing the rhythm in E, that's in the key of E, or he's tuned down a half step. So I just did that. I didn't go. I went. So that's the major third of the key of E. But let's go back to the key of A real quick. What's really good about that is when you go to the 4 chord, which is the D7. So A7 is the 1 chord. And then D7, which there's a lot of different ways to play that chord. You know, you got that right there. You can play this one, which is like the A7 shape. Now check it out. What happens to that same little C or C sharp note? Well, when you play D7, if you're just looking at it through the lens of the A minor pentatonic still, look at that. It's a half step lower. So the 4 chord actually has a C natural in it, and the 1 chord, the A7, has a C sharp in it. What's great about the blues is you can just play the A minor pentatonic over the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. But if you want to add some more sophistication to it, you can try and target those chord tones. So on the 1 chord specifically, the A7, you can try and get a C sharp in there, but then you really hear it change to a C natural, and you can emphasize that in the soloing. So I'm going to delete my loop here, and I'm going to play through an A blues in A, and I want you guys to play along too. I'm going to show you some things to try, but then afterwards you can go right to any jam track, and literally sometimes you might just want to go 1 chord, 1 chord, C sharp, 1 chord, 1 chord, and then when it changes to the D7, dun, dun, back to the 1 chord, you can hear it. And then the 5 chord minor is going to work fine. You can honestly do either. We're not worried about that. It's really about that, at least for this session right now, it's really about that change between the 1 and the 4 chord. So check it out. So that's the 1. I'm going to go to the 4 chord. That's the loop. I'll stop it. And so I'm going to be super simple here. I did the A7 chord for, I think, 8 bars. Or 1, 4 bars. I did it for 4 bars. Then 4 chord, 3, for 2 bars. Then back to the 1 chord for 2 bars, then the 5 chord for 1 bar, 4 chord, turn around, turn around. So watch it. This first time, I'm just gonna go on the 6th fret G for the 1 chord, and then the 5th fret for the 4 chord. Check it out. Always sounds good to hammer, slide, or bend it. Check it out, 4 chord. C sharp. Now it's going to be regular minor pentatonic. That's the C sharp. The 5 chord, just regular minor pentatonic. And so you can really, the cool thing is you can just plug in the A minor pentatonic for the whole thing, and then just try and target that C sharp for the 1 chord. And if you miss it, you're still just thinking of one scale, right? You're not moving around different scales. You're just still can always fall right back into the regular A minor pentatonic and then go for these target notes. Now, Terry is the deadhead here right now. I see him smiling. Now, Jerry was epic at the chord tone stuff. He didn't really think pentatonic scale that much. He was doing lots of melodic chord tone stuff. So this is going to be related to that, like the song Deal, for instance. Like he's doing this kind of thing, and Deal has some different chord changes. I'm going to do another topic that was from the Mountain Retreat, and it is this one, because I think this one's super valuable. And it's a variation of what I talked about in the retreat. But so for a blues, I'm going to keep the same jam track. Instead of getting bogged down with up and down the scale, try this for a couple of days even, like challenge yourself and just do this. On the D string, the 5th and the 7th fret. Just turning my monitor down. The guitar is really loud for me, but not for you guys. So 5 and 7 on the D string. And then 5 and 7 on the G string. And what's interesting about this is you get the entire, if you bend the 7th fret G string, you actually have the entire 5 notes of the pentatonic scale on these 2 strings. Penta meaning 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, 5 notes in this 2-string thing. But that eliminates you thinking about a shape, a scale. Really limiting yourself forces you to now think about your dynamics, your creativity. Dynamics meaning how hard, how soft. Using your ear more, because you're not getting bogged down with, oh, I got to play up and down the shape. So what I'm going to do right now is just with those 2 strings in this little box. You hear the term box, you know, the blues box. This is just a perfect little box right here. And I highly recommend you guys, once again with the jam track, just see what you can come up with just with that 2 little spot thing, because it'll force you to think more about the melodies than a scale shape. So here's that. Thumbs up, it makes sense? I want you guys to do it now. I'm going to just play rhythm. I want you guys to try that. Let me see your guitars there. Josh Norco, he's getting it in. Let me show you those chord tones again. You could go, but that's still in that box if you wanted to then work on that. I'm cheating. So that eliminates the stuff, the shape, the scale, the multiple notes running up and down the neck, where what ultimately, the thing I've heard a million times is, how do I solo without it sounding like a scale? And this is a great way to do that. Here is a little bonus cheat for you. Everything I just did in that little 2-string thing exists an octave up. So you don't have to learn the extended scale, no scale thinking. Just also know that between the 8th fret and the 10th fret on the B string, and the 8th and the 10th fret on the high E string, it's the exact same thing I just showed you, but an octave up. Check it out. You can hear it. So without learning a scale, that same little box, it's actually all over the neck, which is pretty cool. It's right here even. But let's reverse again. Here's what I want you to do. Solo just on 5 and 7 on the D, 5 and 7 on the G, but no, it's the exact same thing on the B and high E between the 8 and the 10 and the 8 and the 10. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play one time through, and I'm going to play a lick in the lower thing, and then repeat. You'll hear it's the same exact lick, but an octave up. So check it out. So what I did was I just soloed freely there for the last little loop. But the point is, I did spend lots of time in little kind of micro zones like that and worked out ideas limiting what I was doing. Then doing it in another spot, and then doing it in another spot, then putting them all together. So I'm not saying never to play the whole scale or the extended scale or learn all 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic. Those are all great things to do, but sometimes you'll actually get improved more by doing this idea, which is limiting, okay? I would love to hear from somebody, anyone that's got a question. Doesn't have to be about the retreat anymore. It can be anything you're working on. It doesn't have to be blues based. I just wanted to go off of something that was related to what a couple of you got to experience at that Marty Music Mountain Retreat. But anyone with any topic, I know other people will be able to relate to it. Doesn't have to be blues, doesn't have to be lead guitar. It can be any random question. You've got my attention. So if you do have a good question, or it can be anything, you can raise your hand and I'll click on you. And yeah, okay, here we go. We're gonna go to Addison Le Mesurier. There you are. Hey, Addison. Welcome. Hey, none of us have ever done this before. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. Yep. Totally. And yeah, and that's okay if you just love playing guitar, I mean, I was kind of that way. I wasn't particularly organized with my practice routines and things, but I did take guitar lessons. It wasn't me it wasn't me with like a 15-hour video course. It's a lot of information. So you might not know the thing that's going to be more important for you out of those 15 hours. Like there could be something along the way that's more important for you, Addison, than somebody else. But let's narrow this down first. Addison, what are your goals, my friend? Let's talk about that first, because then I can help guide you, and some other people I'm sure will relate. Yeah, understood. Mm-hmm. Me too. Me too. Yeah. Love James Taylor. Well, one thing right away, especially with what your goals are, I think it's a great idea to maybe get down 3 Allman Brothers songs and try and be able to play them all the way through, and maybe play along to the recording. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent of a looper pedal. Do you have one of those? Perfect. So check this out. Let's see. So that's the rhythm to whipping post. If you were talking about your friends and family hearing you and not leaving the room, or at least for a good 10 minutes, one, yeah, you do, I think being able to learn entire songs is great. James Taylor is going to be a different set of skills. He's actually one of the best fingerstyle guitar players. And the thing about James Taylor, he doesn't follow specific Travis picking patterns. He's really developed his own style. He varies the way he does it. But I would say go to my YouTube video on In My Mind I'm Going to Carolina. Yeah, so do that one. But then with a looper pedal, it's going to take a little practice, but the looper pedal, you start the loop on the downbeat, the 1. So like 1, 2, 3, and whipping post, the jam part is in 6/8. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also at martymusic.com, I mean, you're here anyway. I have a free course. It's not going to cost you a thing on how to use a looper. I think it's really valuable, probably underutilized at martymusic.com. So check that out. But you can do this. You know, it's one chord shape, a second chord shape, same chord shape a half step up as the first chord. So just two different chord shapes. I'm getting the open A string in there. It's also like Shimon. Different genre there, but I would play the groove first, and then when I get to that one, the count of one, after I've grooved it a little bit. And the cool thing about a looper is you can just keep trying until you get it a little bit tighter. And also you want it's going to help to play the loop a few more times. You don't want to just loop it one time through, because the rhythm will be a little bit better. There, I started the loop. I'm going to play it 4 times. Now I've got the loop. And the melody of the song, I mean, you know, you can work on the 2-note thing I told you guys all to do. Just in that little spot. Don't worry about an entire scale. Pretty much the whole melody of the song can be in there. And that would be a great start. And you just want to chip away though, like learn, watch my whipping post tutorial. I've got the whole song down there. And it's not too bad. You know, it's got the... It's all based in the basic blues pentatonic thing. But so if I looped that, it's all in that spot. So I'm not soloing, I'm just playing the chords. And then I click the looper on again. The octave up part. Now, if you did work on the extended scale, watch how much it sounds like a guitar solo. I'm gonna do this now over that. I'm gonna just play the extended scale up and down with a little bit of feeling, but no licks, right? This is not a solo. This is just the A minor pentatonic extended scale. It will sound pretty damn close to the Allman Brothers, and a next step would be to repeat parts of the up and down, but I'm not even gonna do that. This is just the extended scale going up and down. I'm just gonna do that same thing, but I'm gonna just do doubles, da 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 da, but up that thing. No licks, just the scale itself. So I would create a little list for yourself, and this is archived, by the way. You guys can watch this anytime. Skip to the part that just you're in, you know, and celebrate your new stardom. But you can create a little list. Practice the A minor extended scale. Don't worry about a bunch of other things to practice, right? Maybe just this next week. And I'll be here same time next Saturday. And if you're here, Addison, raise your hand and we'll get you in and hear how you've, what you've worked on. So let's do this. I'm gonna give you a practice routine for the week, okay? The A minor extended scale. Work on that even when you're like watching a movie, sitting on the couch, you're not even plugged in. Just because the muscle memory, the more you get the muscle memory of it down, the more you can then cut to expressing, soloing, making it music. There is a part of it that is memorization, programming, muscle memory. So the A minor pentatonic extended scale, work on that. Then work on that 5 and 7 on the D and G string over an A blues track, where you're limiting yourself just to those 4 notes. It's a cheat, it's 5 notes if you bend that G string. So it's actually all 5 notes of the pentatonic scale in one spot. So that way, now what you're doing is only thinking about expressing yourself in a solo. You're not doing the first thing, which is more memorization of a big, long, extended scale. You want to do both. So that's 2 things right off the bat. Don't worry about a bunch of other stuff. Then I recommend go over the whipping post tutorial that's on YouTube. It's not on the website. That's just a YouTube video, how to play whipping post. Make sure it's Marty music. I'm just gonna, you know, sell myself on that one. But you're here already. I shouldn't have to sell too hard. But whipping post, Statesboro Blues. It's just a great riff. And that's going to help in all blues playing, both of those. Then mix it up and go over Melissa by the Allman Brothers. It's one of the first songs I ever learned, actually. I was a freshman in college and knew like the open chords, maybe barely the pentatonic scale. And I was in the dorms, and one of my friends that I'm still friends with, who I met freshman year of college, his name's Lewin. He heard me playing guitar, knocked on the door, opened the door, music, universal language. Oh, I heard you playing guitar. I play guitar too. Should I go get my guitar? Yeah, go get your guitar. And he came in and we became really good friends ever since, 30 years later. And he showed me how to play Melissa. And it's got some great techniques in there that are in some other songs as well. And that's just a beautiful song. You can play that song, just the chords, without singing it, and play both parts, and it's gonna be very pleasing to an audience of friends, family, dogs, whatever, right? Then, Carolina on My Mind by James Taylor will be challenging. But what I would recommend you do is work on the first measure of it for the week. If, as far as you can get, don't go ahead, just stick on that first. I will have to go over it myself to play it right now. But real quick, let me tell this story. That same friend that showed me Melissa, his name's Lewin. That same year, we were freshmen in college at a college called the College of Santa Fe. It's also where I found my guitar teacher, Chris Sherlin. First few weeks of college, and we're just obsessed with playing guitar more than any of the classes that we had for college. We just became friends, and he was better than me, so he was showing me a lot of stuff. He was a great teacher to me as well before I got real lessons. We went there for film, and so there was this professional soundstage at our college in New Mexico where they filmed movies like White Earp with Kevin Costner, City Slickers, any like Western movies. They would film interiors of, they'd have, if a movie was on location in the desert, it was, especially in the 90s, it was usually in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There was a Old West set in Santa Fe, outside of Santa Fe, that, you know, they would dress to look like a Western town. So any desert movies, Westerns especially, and then like City Slickers, etc. from that era, and TV shows, they would shoot exteriors in Santa Fe, but then at my college they had um, interior sets and a studio. And during this time, we got wind that James Taylor, who I guess lived in Santa Fe part time, it's just a cool artsy little desert town. You know, it's a trippy little town. It's a very kind of unique place. So we had gotten wind, the rumor had gotten around that James Taylor had rented out the soundstage to rehearse for his upcoming tour. And we were huge fans of James Taylor, and we're young 19-year-olds basically obsessed with music and classic rock like so many people of our Gen X generation. And so we got wind of it, but we weren't, you know, it was a closed set. No one was allowed there. It was completely locked up and everything. But we heard about it. And so, being the young, precocious 19-year-olds we were, we snuck over. And when someone opened the door to leave, you know, like a crew person or whatever, we just were sneaky and bold, and we just ran in there before the door closed and locked. And we walked in, and it was pitch black with just because they had a stage set up with they're rehearsing the band, but they were also rehearsing all the lighting cues and the production, you know. So it wasn't just that they were rehearsing musically, they were rehearsing for the whole tour that he was about to go on. So it was pitch black. And then the lights were just on the stage, and James Taylor and his whole band was rehearsing, but also talking to each other and stopping and going, hey, let's work on that harmony. Yeah, play the solo longer on Steamroller Blues and all that stuff. And so we were like these little rats in the corner in pitch black. No one saw us. And we were just sitting there, and we got to watch a James Taylor rehearsal for an hour. And we were just like so excited. It was magical. And no one saw us. And so then anyway, they say, all right, we're gonna take a break now. Let's take a break, huh? Okay, yeah, let's take a break. And so then they turn the house lights on, and the whole studio gets lit up. And so the lights are just the two students who shouldn't be there in the corner hiding, and the lights just come straight on us like we're busted, you know, like we're in trouble. And so people were staring at us. We did this a few times too, actually. We did this when they were filming White Earp with Kevin Costner. We did that. We did that too. And like met Dennis Quaid and like saw Kevin Costner and all that kind of stuff. We got in more trouble for that though. But for this one, James Taylor sees us, and we're like kind of exposed in trouble, and he like sees us that, you know, we shouldn't be there. And we have nothing that we can do. We're just caught basically. And so we're just standing there wondering what's going to happen. And James Taylor walks off the stage, and he starts walking towards us, towards me and Lewin. And we're like, oh boy. And we're already starstruck because he's one of our idols. And so he comes walking over to us. And he's really tall, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. He's probably 6'5". So he walks straight up to us, to Lewin and I, and sticks his hand out, and he goes, hey, I'm James. How are you guys? And we're like, oh, we're fine. And oh, I'm Marty. Oh, I'm Lewin. He was like, hey, how did it sound? Did it sound all right? And he was just like the nicest guy in the world. We weren't in trouble, and he just wanted to, he knew we were obviously excited, and just, we said we played guitar, and we're just a big fan, and, you know, and he was just, gave us 10 minutes of his time, talked to us, how did it sound, all that stuff. And so anyway, that was really amazing. And then we got out of there. We didn't want to, you know, press our luck with that. But then I will cut to a full circle moment 30 years later. I did the lesson I'm referring to you, Addison. Yeah, Carolina on My Mind. Yeah. So I did that tutorial a couple years ago. I worked really hard on it, and I did not nail it. I think I got pretty close. I'm not a good fingerstyle player anyway, but I worked really hard on that. I worked on it for probably a couple weeks before I filmed the lesson because I love the song anyway. So it was a good challenge for me as a musician, a guitar player, and it helped me a lot with some of getting better at the fingerstyle. But so I finally felt good enough, you know. If you guys know, I'm never really 100% accurate. I'm like more like hobbyist accurate, so you guys can have fun with it. I'm not so OCD that I have to play every single section exactly how James Taylor did it, but close enough for someone to learn it and have it sound right. So I did that lesson and I put it all up on social media and YouTube and all that, and I got a direct message from James Taylor, who continued to show me what a great guy he still was 30 years later. And he had obviously no recollection that that was me as a kid that met him in college. But he just wrote me this beautiful message saying he was honored that I did the lesson and that I did a great job, and he was thanking me for doing it, which I just thought was like just the classiest, nicest thing, which showed he's still just this amazing guy. And yeah, and one of his sons he plays in his band now, who went to Berklee School of Music. Can't remember his name, probably in his 20s, and he follows me on Instagram. The son does, so that's just a really cool thing for me. I've had a bunch of those experiences now with some of my heroes, like Slash. Cat Stevens was one of my favorites ever, and I've talked to him, and you know, Jason Isbell. You know, when I've done one of their lessons, they reach out to me. It's just the most amazing thing ever. I'm so lucky. But so Addison, that is your practice routine. Hopefully you're here next week. We'll see how it goes. You don't have to play for us if you don't want, but just do that. Just do that. Just do what I said. Okay, cool. So just do what I said. Is anyone else? We're running out of time because I do have an appointment that I have to get to in my personal public life, I guess you could say. But we got Connor here. Hey. Great. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Where are you? Are you in Ireland? Ooh, I was right. I'm okay with dialect. I mean, I have an ear for music, and that's what that sounded like to me. So I'm glad I was right. I'm glad I didn't say Scotland, right? Get myself in trouble. Okay. Okay. Well, I would definitely just I would learn the traditional way first. It'll make that part easier. Now, I do have a lesson on that. Here's what I recommend. No one ever does it well. I've said it at the retreat too. Super hard for myself to do it and anyone else I've ever taught in private lessons is playing it super slowly, then speeding it up. So you want to nail it at super slower than you even feels natural. Super slow, then speed it up. So, and also, you got to practice the stuff, part of it that you're not good at. So if the double bending, I mean, you mean like that kind of thing? Like two strings? I tend to use two fingers. I've seen guys use one finger. I like to use third finger and pinky together. But you're just going to want to go slower than feels natural, get it down, then speed it up after you start to get it down natural. Also, similar to what I was saying to Addison, is don't just jump ahead where you're just kind of playing all the parts really crappily. I don't know if that's a word. Playing it not good. Dude, nail the first note. Nail the first note. You get that first note, nail the second note. Just play the first two notes of the riff. Don't go ahead. You eventually go ahead and play it all shitty again, but to truly get it down, go back, play the first two notes super slow perfectly, then add the third note. Then play those first three notes of the riff a bunch of times without going forward. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Well, were you using one finger or two fingers? Okay. 14th on the B and 16th on the G. Is he bending it a half step? So you said supersonic. Okay, 1988 live intro. Okay, I'm gonna make a note to check it out because it'll help me. I can't help you as much because okay, let's check it out. Okay. And you're sure it's, oh, I wasn't doing that right. You said 14 on the G? Okay. All right. I'll check that out. Matt, you can make a note for me. You said the live 98 version? Okay. I will check it out. But I already know you got to practice it slower. I mean, I know you were just performing that. And bravo, sir. In front of, yeah, everyone's clapping. We're all admiring you right now. Good job. I'll check that out for you. All right. So maybe you can make it next week and we'll touch up on it and see what we can get. All right. Well, I got to go, guys. Like I said, I do have a thing, but I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you got something from it. Let's see here. Oh, was that you? Nicholas, what's up? Peace and love. Can't hear you, Nicholas. You have a... What do you think, Matt?
If he goes down to mic, he might be able to change his...
There could be a little microphone that you can find there.
There's a mic icon.
There's a mic icon.
If you scroll over that, you might be able to see...
Okay, now I see you. Now I hear you. I hear you. Nope. I did hear you coming out. Do you see the mic icon? Okay, yeah, I see you hitting it, but something is lost in translation there, my friend. But really appreciate you. You know, we can help you troubleshoot that. Yeah, we'll figure that out. But anyway, I appreciate all of you guys. That hour went by really quick. So next Saturday, I'll be here at the same time. And I'll pick out a couple of topics and then also get to talk to you guys. So thank you again. Hopefully you got some things from it. And we'll talk to you guys next Saturday, hopefully. Appreciate you guys.
YouTube still going?
Yeah. Supersonic. You're in my house. You're in my house.